Corey Swergas here for Slap News. We are catching up with Sheena Bathory after Power Slap number 5. We're going to talk about how her life has changed and what she's focused on right now. Sheena, how you doing today?
Hi. I'm doing great. Thank you so much
Awesome.
for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a pleasure as always to have you on. Seeing you there in Las Vegas after your victory at Power Slap number 5, you were all smiles. You're a ton of energy. How great was it to actually get there on a numbered card and come out victorious?
Um, yeah, this it was still hard to believe like days after because the journey was long
Hmm.
to waiting for my second competition, because some of them don't know, but I had already an exhibition competition and it was long time until I was waiting for this opportunity. Also, the wait cut was really long, so I was every day in the before my fight, like 2 months, like whole day, whole night, just this about that I'm going to win this competition. So I'm
Hmm.
really very grateful that I was able to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about it. I mean, I know you had to wait to the very end to weigh in. You weren't able to do media availability because you weren't feeling well. Like, how hard was that cut for you to get ready?
Yeah, so I'm usually not liking to complain of weight cut because
Mhm,
it's a part of the martial arts.
mhm,
So I used to weight cut a lot in judo, in freestyle wrestling in my entire life, but the only thing, since I retired from judo, which was like 6 years ago, I didn't cut weight like this. And I
mhm,
haven't been this weight like 6 years ago. So that's why it was very challenging because my body didn't get used to it. I was also doing like 2 years bodybuilding. So I also gained some extra muscles on my legs. And
mhm.
I was like, okay, now time to burn those muscles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I truly felt like I'm becoming a marathon runner because in the beginning I started jogging like 5-6 miles daily besides my MMA training. And then later I saw that my weight is stopped in the last 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, so I had to cut back even more from the calories. And in the last
Mhm.
almost 2-3 weeks I was almost in 600, 800 calories,
Oh, wow.
and I went up to 12 miles a day, by
Crazy.
jogging. So I definitely pushed out my limit, like
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I'm so proud. I was so proud of myself that I was able to do it. And
Yeah.
when the competition was coming, so after when I weaned, I did nothing. I just was drinking, eating a little bit, and then I was passing out and sleep. And again, I woke up, drink, eat a little bit. I was passed out and I was sleeping until the competition. So I really needed so much time to recover. So I tried to take the chance to sleep as much as I could. So I will be ready for the competition. And yeah, so when the competition day, I was like, I'm not going to let go this opportunity. I was like,
Mhm,
to get here, to make the way. I
mhm,
was like, no, I'm going to get this. So sometimes I realize that for fighters, it's really huge challenge and struggles, the weight cut. And after they get more hungry for the competitions, people saying like, oh, she or he looks so weak, probably that from the weight cut. And sometimes it can actually really motivate us. Like, look, this was very, very hard, but
mhm.
as hard I was working just to get the weight cut, I'm not going to waste this opportunity. So it can give you some extra power.
Absolutely. I wanna touch on something. So, I mean, you've dabbled in bodybuilding, you've dabbled in pro wrestling, you've dabbled in MMA, um, bodybuilding. Now coming to Power Slap, we know your judo background. Like, what inspires you and motivates you to get into so many things and accelerate, through the ranks?
So I'm type of the woman who always like to try out different things. Well, because I like to improve my perspectives. especially if it's about the sports, maybe my curiosity also, and the challenges. So in the beginning, I was spending more of my time in judo and in freestyle wrestling and grappling. And uh, I think I kind of got distracted because I get 7 surgeries from judo and wrestling, and I was like, it made me actually really sad and disappointed, and I started going in different direction. So I was like, I still enjoying to competing. So let's find some sport which is no, less harmless, for the body. And this is how I decided bodybuilding. And since I was a kid, I always liked to be strong, muscular, because when I was like 5, my mother, she was always also very muscular, and she had a bodybuilding poster on the wall. There was a very, very beautiful, muscular blonde woman. And I asked, like, who's this woman? And then my mom explained, and my mom was like, I want to look like she. And if my mom said that, I was like, okay, then I want to look like her too. So I started more like always joining my mom in the training in the gym. Um so bodybuilding was always one of my fantasy. And when I actually turned to be a bodybuilder, I kind of enjoyed, but I was also a little bit disappointed because I realized that it's very monotone, and the only way I can improve is just like lifting heavier weights, or maybe try out different exercise. And basically that's it. In martial arts, I really like that you can be really creative. You can find out something new technique if you have the ability for that. You can always learn something new. And combat sport has no limit, and bodybuilder does, because they're also very it's a very subjective sport, so the genetic is actually very important. And there was time when it's no matter how hard I was dieting, how hard I was training, I just didn't really fit in that category, because I was competing in wellness, where we need like a big strong thighs. And I was really training so hard, but my upper body was always too strong for the category. And there was like 1 or 2 years I basically did not train nothing on my upper body, because I had to kind of lose muscles, which I was building through the martial arts. So it was very challenging. And I tried, but I was like, I can never really completely fit in the category. Meanwhile, it's a blessing what type of genetic I have, because I'm genetically strong in arm, strong in legs, like strong everywhere. But there is
Mhm.
no really category in
Mhm.
in bodybuilding where I can fit in. So I was like, okay, and it's anyway was a little bit boring for me. And when Power Slap was coming, I was like, yes, finally something
Mhm.
wild, like not so many people are doing. And I was like, I like this. It's kind of crazy.
Mhm.
So I was like, it's gonna suit me really, really well. And you need the courage there. I realized actually that I have a good chin, because I get multiple times slapped in my life. And I realized, like, oh, actually I'm really tough, and I know that I can give also big slap, because I had to use my unknown skill. Sometimes I had fights in my life, so I know, like, I'm going to be pretty good in that. And I come to US, so I was like, okay, great opportunity. I think I can
Mhm.
be the best in that. So why I made my first exhibition fight in Power Slap. In the same time, I get desire to do MMA. I was like, let's go back to the wild and the real, combat sports. And
Mhm.
the fire just started coming up. And it was coming back, the fire,
Mhm.
which I had in my very early age, like when I was cadet or something. And I
Mhm.
was like, this is what actually Khabib was talking about. Like, if you have no fire inside you, you don't have to fight. It's not for you. So I know
Totally.
it's the right time for me to do power slap
Mhm.
because I get so hungry, you know?
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, the wellness category is unique in a sense that it's the only category that you need to be, disproportionately out of balance. Smaller upper body, bigger lower body.
Yes, bikini upper body
So
and almost physic, no physic,
for sure.
bodybuilding
Yeah.
legs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, figure you have too big of a bottom half for figure, so you pretty much
Yes.
would have to go into women's physique,
Yes.
women's bodybuilding, and as we know, to be competitive at the upper level in that, you need to be willing to take performance enhancing drugs to be able to do that, and obviously
Yes,
that's
exactly.
everybody's life's decision, and I don't advocate for or against it, but it's a big life decision if you do decide to do it. So it's interesting to kind of see that route. At least you did it. I mean, you were able to get up there. You competed on a national stage. I believe you did the Sean Ray show. Is that correct in Hawaii? Is that where you competed?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. It's actually that show just happened, I think, a weekend or two ago. So once again, it's still going strong. Coming to America, I mean, obviously, growing up in Hungary, you look at America, the land of the free, the land of opportunity. I know you've been here now for a number of years. Was it everything you thought, everything you hoped it would be, or has it been a harder struggle for you to kind of adapt and change to the cultural norms?
Well, since I was a kid, so I used to live in United States with my parents when I was 5, just for half a year, and we moved back because it didn't really work out the way my dad wanted, and I don't know. I don't want to really dig in. So after we left United States, I just a kid. I already had a very strong instinct that I have to come back to United States and I have to do something big here. So there is no really explanation for that. It was intuition, and I always was planning, but wasn't really the right time because I was busy with judo, or always something else. And then I remember 3 years ago I had a reality show in Hungary. It was a sport reality, and I know that after that show, because I become one of the most liked character. So I started getting lots of contracts, and I know if I'm going to sign this contract, I'm kind of gonna depend, and I don't know how many years on the country. So I know that if I'm going to sign up, I may not be able to leave, you know and I was like, and maybe I may lose bigger opportunities in United States because Hungary is great, they offered me, but it's what is big in the country, it stays there. I wanted something bigger, so I was like, okay, I left and I said no for all the big shows and opportunities. I was like, no, I'm gonna start everything from the beginning, because but I have bigger dream. And I remember the producers were writing me, "Oh, you shouldn't miss this chance because," and I was like, because it's going to be a big loss for me. And I said, it's not going to be a big loss for me if I know there is something bigger somewhere else, And those opportunities were not in the air, but my not only my intuition, I had a faith. So that faith actually uh, helped me to make this big step. And when I come over here, I had basically nobody here. It was really hard because I was really homesick more than a year. It was very, very hard. I didn't know who I can trust. I just didn't know where to start. So I was first in Phoenix. I was like, maybe bodybuilding first. I wanted to actually pro wrestling, and I realized that in Phoenix, no really pro wrestling. So after 3 months, I moved up to Las Vegas, and I was like, okay, I like this city because I already had silver medal, some bodybuilding show in the past. I won Naga Jitsu competition in Las Vegas. I was like, I have already great memories from Vegas. I felt a bit familiar with that city, and I started actually connecting with such type of people who's into bodybuilding, into pro wrestling. So I started building up my friendship, and I started training pro wrestling, And I was like, okay, maybe this is something, like it's just started working for me. And then Power Slap reached out to me, and here I am. And the only thing, I moved 1 year ago, almost 1 year ago, to Miami because Las Vegas was very good to start a trip. I'm not regretting it, but
Mhm.
as a farm girl, I need nature. I started feeling actually very weird there. People always coming to Las Vegas to drink,
Mhm.
game ball, so the energy level is a bit lower,
Yeah.
and I was like, it's hard to belong this place. If I wanted, I was so craving just to even cuddle a tree. I remember, and there was no tree, so I found some mountain. I think Charles Mountain or something. This is how it called, but it was more than an hour drive. But I
Mhm.
still was driving there twice a week and jogging there, just I can get a different air or something.
Mhm.
But after, I was like, no, I just have to leave. And when I left, I came to Miami. I found MMA masters, and I since I live here,
Mhm.
I have no homesick. It's
Amazing.
gone. So I feel that I found my home. I'm kind of grounded here. And I was like, I'm ready to create big things
Mhm.
because I don't feel lost no more. So I connected with bunch of people here. The weather is amazing. I love the humidity. So
Mhm.
and because the trainings are really, really hard. So after the training, I just can't go to the beach. The salty water, it helps me to recover faster. So everything is given to become the best version of myself, and I'm really very grateful for that.
Mhm. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you're definitely an inspiration for a lot of women. You've been able to cross a lot of genres, like we said, do a lot of different things in strength sports. Um, you know, if a young girl in Hungary today is looking up to you and watching what you are doing here right now in Power Slap, what would you tell that young lady?
uh can you help me with the what is her desire, that I can't exactly tell? What would I
I
tell her?
I just
She
mean
wants
like,
to become something big also.
yeah, like become something big, wants to, leave
So okay,
Hungary
okay,
to
I
go to
understand.
America, for a better life. What would you say to that person?
So it's no matter which country, what city you were born in from, or where you are living at. Uh, Obviously, we live like different circumstances, but I think every human got the same gift, and this calls faith. If you have faith, then you are able to get anywhere. The only thing is not enough just believing in it. You need so much discipline. You have to put the work in, but with these combinations, you can achieve everything. So there are multiple examples in UFC too, that people were struggling in their life and they ended up in the UFC and they become the biggest and biggest champions. But I also can talk from my experience. Except my dad was my coach, so I'm truly feel very, very blessed of that, because I also get the right way to be raised for. But it also doesn't matter if inside you feel and you truly believe that you want to create something big. You have to go for it. And if you don't see yet the right road, sooner or later the opportunity will comes to you, which is going to open the right door for you, or the right road. So if we you should be limitless. There is no limit. Just people people are limiting each other, actually, all the
Mhm.
time. They try to push down each other.
Mhm.
Or we were built like, oh, we should be be worried of death and all these things. I'm not worried. So I'm becoming actually very, very fearless. You have to
Hmm.
be fearless that you unlock your potential and all your limits, and you have to trust God. If you trust God, you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to put the work every day, and sooner or later you're going to get there. Even though, like, some people, it's also a fear to be scared to lose.
Hmm.
But if you are doing the right work and you are there on the competition and you lost on the paper, it's still not losing. You won experience. Maybe by the time your opponent better deserved the victory, you don't know how much work she or he was putting in. You don't know how strong was your opponent inner spirit, because it's not just a physical fight. Our spirit is also fighting against each other, you know. Some
Hmm.
people are fighting for their family, for their nation, for so many reasons. That's why never underestimate your opponent. You don't know what your opponent broke there, you know. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm saying, like, I'm already grateful I'm there. I'm going to give everything from me. Obviously, I'm just fantasizing that there's no other way. I have
Yeah.
to win. But if it doesn't working out, okay, I'm still very grateful for that fight. I know it also give me a lesson, maybe. I know I have to change something to become better in the next competition. And it has to happen for a reason. I have to
Hmm.
accept it. Or maybe it's gonna push you to the another direction. You know, we have to be also very flexible sometimes to change our plan,
Hmm.
our goals. Because my goal was in the beginning to come here, pro wrestling. And look, Power Slap reached out to me. And what would I say? We shouldn't be stubborn. The ego you have to put away. Because many
Hmm.
people are saying no for an upcoming opportunities because they are like, no, I want to do this. Maybe I can do pro wrestling 5 or 6 years later and I'm going to get like this in WWE.
Yeah.
But I needed this journey for that. I don't know actually. But currently, I got
Hmm.
Power Slap and I was like, I'm gonna take this chance and I'm gonna invest my best in
Hmm.
it. And later can be beneficial from this to the other directions. I don't know.
Of course.
So that's what I'm saying. No matter for kids, like if you are poor, look like we, yeah, like there was really hard time for my family many many times. That we have 4 seasons. The winter is can be really tough. Some people not able to heating their house, and it was we were not able to pay our gas bill, and they turned off our heater in our house, and we were 4 kids, three of my siblings and me and my parents. And we
Hmm.
were there in a very cold house when minuses in Hungary.
Yeah.
And all of us were sleeping in the same room. And the only thing that where we were able to eat, because we lived on the farm, and that's what my dad said. If there even war coming or something, and the fridge is empty, your mother can go always out and can cut an animal, and we have something food on the table.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. The circumstance for somebody kind of harder, less harder, it doesn't matter. Like everybody starts from a different distance, you know,
Hmm. Yeah.
to their goals to achieve. But as long
Hmm.
as you have a faith, you're going to get there. For someone, maybe the journey takes shorter, for someone longer, but it's not on you. God knows your plan, and as long as you trust the God, you're going to make it.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, great advice to give young women for sure. Do you feel that that road, that opportunity for you right now in this phase of your life, do you feel like Power Slap is it?
Absolutely. I'm never doing nothing anything what I'm when I'm not comfortable in. So we also have to always listen our instincts, because if I was pushing myself to other direction and I was a bit stubborn, that's why I told you you shouldn't be stubborn and you have to be flexible about changing the plan as long as you feel that something is wrong, because that can make you sick. It can cause you many injuries. So that's why I'm thinking you have to see always the signs. And when I'm getting so much sign, like I no matter how hard I'm trying, it doesn't work out. Doesn't you have to change something, you know? So once I got in power slap, I felt comfortable. I felt like a warm house or something like, oh,
Mhm.
this is what I felt. I have to come here to United States.
Mhm.
Even by the time power slap wasn't exist yet, maybe it was a plan. But when I get the invitation
Mhm.
and I show up, I was like, oh, that was it. That's why I had to come here at that time.
Mhm.
When I told you I have to. Oh, also, I left Hungary not only because I was scared that they're holding me back. Something was pushing me, like, go, leave now. And
Mhm.
I was visiting my friend in Germany after the TV show, and I called my mom. It was on Tuesday. I called my mom. I bought a ticket. I'm leaving on Sunday. She was like, already? I mean,
Mhm.
I know you. You are pretty random and you know why you are doing. Okay, my daughter, but will
Mhm.
you be at home a couple days before you leave? And I said, yes, I'm coming home like Thursday or something. I was 3 days at home.
Yeah.
Every clothes, everything I had home,
Mhm.
yours, I was sharing with the judo team, between
Mhm.
everything. Even my gi, I was like, I'm not bringing my kimono. It's fine. I'm done with everything.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
one luggage, I just went to living my American dream.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, you certainly are the ambassador for Power Slap in the women's division right now. You know, what do you think it's going to take for the women's side to grow, to get more women into the sport? Um, like, are you trying to help push it forward? Like, what do you feel that you need to do as an ambassador right now to be able to see it flourish?
Definitely I try to inspiring them that I'm sharing with them that I used to do and I'm still doing multiple type of sports. So maybe those girls also going to get desire to try it out. So I'm not saying that only, for example, judo fighter or bodybuilder just or grappler or whatever can actually exist in this sport. I would say you need nothing, just your courage and start to training, you know, uh, specifically for slapping and all these moves. But it doesn't need that much techniques like for training MMA or judo. Then what takes out 5, 10, 15 years sometimes. So there is obviously no age limit, and I think it can be an open door for many female who already believes that, oh, like they missed the opportunity of their life to becoming a big champion in some combat sport because they started very lately, or their parents never really were on the athletic side and they weren't raised on that way. I would say, come here and try this out. It's a very nice team. People, the producers, everybody treat you so well, and I always feel so loved and respected there. So and I think it's right time to represent the female power for the world, because actually the world is changing. So many women becoming more independent. Women love actually promoting how strong they are, without men, whatever. Okay, come here and show it how strong you are, so not only on the Instagram.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely a very strong, powerful woman. I mean, you have a very courageous story. You had popularity, with the reality show back in Hungary. You threw all that away to come and chase the American dream because you knew that there was something bigger and greater for yourself. You came here, for a lack of a better term. I mean, you've had incredible success to this point. I think you should be incredibly, humbled, thankful, and appreciate everything that you've accomplished, because it has been truly amazing to see what you've been able to do here as a woman in America. On a lighter note, though, I need to ask you, what do you think of the men in America? Can they stand up to you?
You mean in power slap?
No, in America in general. Can the men at the can the men, in the
Yeah,
bar or the
keep up with
gym?
me with my lifestyle and all these things. Um, I I have to say the true, like, Americans a little bit more spoiled than Europeans for sure, but they are very intelligent, so they were learning from our struggle, and that's why they kind of can understand my mindset, and my strength and my powerful inner strength. But but Americans, man, basically they are breakfast for me. So I'm just currently I'm just focusing on my goals, and I would actually I can connect for those type of people who were really really struggling in their childhood. I hear like someone uh literally lived I hope I'm not insulting anyone with this to saying that ghetto is not a it's not insulting, right?
Yeah, I'm not
That
sure what you
like
mean.
coming from very very poor areas. I don't
Okay,
know how
yeah.
it says
Yo,
English.
ghetto. Yeah, okay, ghetto.
Ghetto,
Yeah,
it says
yeah,
ghetto. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so people who grew up in the ghetto and they every day had to they every day were in their basically in their surviving mode,
Hmm.
so those people actually were built different, and those people who since they were kids were growing up like this. It doesn't matter that America or another country, our spirit just just can't connect right away,
Hmm.
because we were a little bit built different. So such people I can connect like right away. But I truly like in Americans that they are very very intelligent, and they they love studying everything and analyzing everything, and they are very very curious and very open minded. So I love their mindset, and
Hmm.
I really love, and I never experienced this in any country, that as an immigrant I always felt very welcomed and loved here and appreciated. And
Hmm.
honestly, it's not good to say against my country, but I'm feeling like much more appreciated in this country than back in
Hmm.
mine. So
Awesome. Yeah,
thank you, United States. I'm
yeah.
really very grateful.
Awesome. Well, let's end it on that note. I appreciate you joining me. As always, you're welcome on our show any given time. We look forward to seeing you progress in your personal life as well as in Power Slap, because I want to see you fulfill all of your dreams that you have here in America. Appreciate you, Sheena.
Thank you so much.